tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good morning. Happy Trudging Tuesday. I did a little cheating there. Trudging Tuesday. Yeah, I know. I'm early again. I know. I have a podcast at 11, so I'll be on with Donna Marston. Not sure how that one's going to be shared either. It might be live. I don't know. It might be live. It might be Memorex for all I know. Is it live or is it Memorex? Oh, so what? Oh, God, more of these. Dear Lord. Chat history is missing. Put in your pen. I don't care about my chat history on. What makes you think I care about my chat history on Messenger? I ain't got no proof in there. Ain't nothing in there. All right. This doesn't seem to be the best time to go live. I think people are really used to that 11 o'clock. All right. I will do my best not to book things at 11. But I'm always so unthinking. Maybe I just need to start putting it in my calendar. Every day I go live at 11. Yeah, we'll see. No. It's not like there's anybody here to bitch at me. So seems like only a couple of the channels are going through. I'm going to see Raw Recovery with Dion. It's still sending data. Okay. It is what it is. There's not anything I can do about it right now. So no need to rub salt in the wound. All right. We'll be talking about self-pity today. Selfish. Maybe a little bit of selfishness, self-centeredness. But we don't just talk about the problem here. We're going to talk about the solution. How do we get out of self-pity? This is where we're a little different. A lot of times I see people that are putting stuff out and all they're doing is bringing up the problems when we need to talk about the solution. We call this presenting the pain. It is a sales tactic, and it is not something I use. It's not something I use. I would rather use humor. So that's what I do here. All right, let's do some introductions. Let's get started. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. I'm your host today for the Trudging Tuesday. We're the Trudging Tuesdayers. Shirts are coming out again. It's going to be a couple months. Lord only knows when it's going to be, actually. If you're here, please say hello, whether watching the live or the rewatch. It's just, right now my money is dependent upon a lawyer that I don't trust. So we'll put it that way. But as soon as we get that money, man, then we can finally get some stuff done. I've just been waiting. Clearly, God has a plan. It's funny. I brought it up to Pastor Marsha at one point. I'm like, it is what it is. Maybe this is God's plan, leaving us broke. And she said, "No, I don't think God's doing that." So it's like, well, okay, let's get started. I'm sure you're just having a blast listening to me talk on about money, right? The feeling of self-pity. So we're reading out of Daily Reflections, Hazelden Literature, July 29th, reflection for the day. The feeling of self-pity, which we've all suffered at one time or another, is one of the ugliest emotions we can experience. We don't even relish the thought. We don't even relish the thought of admitting it to others that we are awash in self-pity. We hate being told that it shows. We quickly argue so that we are facing another emotion instead. We go so far as to cleverly hide ourselves from the fact that we are going through a siege of poor meism. Now we're gonna dive into this a little bit more than just the reading, right? So let's do the reading first. Let's kind of get this out of the way, and then we're gonna we'll get to the other stuff. But a little breath there. Got to take a breath. Sometimes I start talking too fast, and then my sentences start to mingle, and I don't put a period in there, and I just keep talking. And then I run out of breath, like I just did. Yep. Yeah. But man, self-pity is hard to get out of, isn't it? Because it's one of the hardest ones to admit that you're going through. You may not even know it. See, the denial can be deep enough to where you just don't believe that you're going through self-pity. A lot of these things come with their own denial. Like CPTSD, it comes with its own set of denial, right? In that case, the denial is usually CPTSD. People are usually like, well, those people, they go through war and everything else, man. I didn't go through half of what they went through. And the denial that's would be a transference, denying that I have it. No, that would be PTSD, not CPTSD. Good morning, Clara. Clara says, good morning. I'm a good example of self-will run right in my head. Therapist troubles. It's where I go to with mine. It's what my therapist is for. My sponsor is not there to solve my problems. Nope, that's not my sponsor's job. Although they might. I have some closed mouth friends that'll certainly help me work through problems, but I should try and keep my self-pity out of here, out of meetings, right? There's a right arena for it. And therapy is usually the best. All right. If you've had problems with therapists in the past, it's not surprising, because when you can't be honest, a therapist can't help you. And we alcoholics aren't honest until we figure out how we're being dishonest. Good morning, Heather. It's good to see you. All right. Doing this a little early. I have another podcast at 11 today. Then I have another one next week, I think. Oh no, this will be my third one in a week. No, this will be my fourth one in a week. Actually, more like 9 days, I think. I suck at time. Only one of them was mine. I've been going on other people's shows. Heather says I've got therapy in an hour. Oh yeah, well I got it at 2:00. I love Tuesdays. Tuesdays is therapy day. All right. Let's kind of get through this portion. By the same token, in a split second, we can easily find several dozen valid reasons for feeling sorry for ourselves. Do I sometimes enjoy rubbing salt into my own wounds? Oh yeah, I loved it. It's what I knew. That was the problem. I don't know that I necessarily loved it as much as it was familiar. See, I stayed sick for a long time because at least that was familiar to me. At least I knew it. I got the chaos. I knew the drama. I knew the bullshit, the self-pity, the selfishness, self-centeredness. At least I understood it. It was familiar to me. I knew how to work through those things. But unfortunately, it was killing me and destroying everything good around me. And I wasn't willing to accept that consequence anymore. So I decided to change. Claire says, at least today I can identify it. I find myself not discarding it. Yeah. We don't sit in self-pity, but we do need to recognize it and then do something about it. But it's the hardest one for me, I know, to get out of, right? Today I pray, may I recognize the emotions I am feeling for what they are If I am unable to point them out to myself, may I count on others who know what it's like to be a feeling stuffer? May I stay in touch with my feelings by staying in touch with my higher power and with others in the group today. I'll remember, stay in touch, right? Because the biggest problem with self-pity is the isolation. It's the isolation. Because the opposite of addiction is community, it's fellowship, it's, it's these things. So self-pity, while understandable as a temporary response to difficult circumstances, can become dangerous when it becomes a prolonged state of mind, right? So the thing is when I live in the problem, if I constantly think about the problem, if I constantly have self-pity, that is where I'm going to live. What's the saying? Hurt people hurt people. And when I'm hurting, I tend to hurt other people. Maybe not always intentionally. But when I'm in self-pity, because then I get to a point where things are a finality. You don't understand what I'm going through. And I won't even try and help them understand what I'm going through. I won't even attempt to help them when I'm in self-pity understand what I'm going through. But if I can understand it and I start to talk about it out loud, then that is the beginning of working towards the solution. So we have to understand the problem first, right? And that's where the trickery comes in, because we don't want to live there either. This is why action is important. Okay. The number one way to get out of self-pity that I have found for me, help another person. Doesn't even need to be an alcoholic. Just help another person, and that will go away. Maybe not immediately, and it might even come back after you're done working with that person. Go help another person, double down. Okay, what are we doing? We're working with muscle memory here. We have to do this repetition in our head in order for our brains to understand what we're trying to do, right? So it creates a hindrance to personal growth and emotional healing. Self-pity keeps individuals focused on their misfortunes, preventing them from taking action to improve their situation, learning from mistakes, or moving forward constructively. It hinders acceptance of the situation and the healing process, delaying the ability to see new possibilities. See, I can't see the forest for the trees. I can't be in self-pity and be doing the will of God at the same time. It's not going to work. You ever talk to somebody and you're telling somebody how your day is going and they just need to jump in and tell you the bad shit that's going on? Yeah, people like that. Yeah. Of course you know people like that. You're an alcoholic. It'd be you. It'd be me. Let's just try to put it lightly. Right? It's us. It's us. Constantly being in that. Okay. Then we make it worse by drinking. Well, I'm in self-pity, so I drink. It goes to the reward center. So I'm telling my brain that self-pity is the way we're going. And guess what we're going to get? Now it's going to go to an extreme. Now it's going to go to extreme. Mr. Hyde's going to get a hold of that. No, he's going to do some beautiful things with it. And by beautiful, I mean destructive. Beautiful to him. Them, he, she. Okay. Maybe it's maybe it's Miss Hydette for you. I don't know. Right. So the next part, fueling negativity and distorting reality. You can't reinforce the negativity, but that's what, and I just talked about what we did to reinforce it. Then if you have people that are around you that are codependent, it's going to get worse because they're going to sympathize with you. What does misery love? Oh, it loves company. Oh, this person feels sorry for me too. Well, I'm going to drag that person in to what's going on because now I'm going to utilize that person to make me feel better. and it ain't gonna work. It might work for a second or two, but in your gut, your intuition, if you ask your intuition, it's gonna be like, yeah, you're full of shit. It's gonna know. Right? Self-pity magnifies personal grievances and misfortunes, creating a negative and often skewed perception of reality. It's true. Where the bad seems to outweigh the good, this negativity can contribute to increased anxiety and depression. Yeah. Carter says, when I drank, I didn't ever think about cutting. Now that I am sober, now that I'm sober, I do to redirect that thought is feel something for me, petting a dog, watching nature. Yeah, so you do something else instead of following through on that thought. And that's what I would call an intrusive thought. Right? So for us, a lot of this is managing, because we're talking in general here. We're not even talking about alcoholism. We're just talking about self-pity. But we've got to remember, us alcoholics tend to go a little bit further with things, right? So good or bad. So when it comes to the good stuff, go a little bit further. Don't do it with the bad stuff. It was the bad stuff I used to reinforce. Woe is me. Poor Dion. Poor Dion. Pour Dion another drink, right? That's the saying that we have. All right. So the negativity contributes to anxiety and depression. No wonder we have a little bit of social anxiety and depression when we come in here, huh? If you had my life, you would drink too. If you had my parents, you would drink too. If you had my wife, if you had my husband, if you had my kids, if you had the job that I had, you would drink too. I've heard it. I've heard it all. I've heard every reason to drink. And they're just excuses. They're always excuses to avoid reality. And I understand them because I want the same thing. So I get it. I understand what even thinking about it sometimes, I'm like, even in my, if you would ask Mr. Hyde, Dion's Mr. Hyde, I would actually even agree with you because I get it. I understand the escapism. I do. But I found that escapism was making it worse. It was doubling down on the problem. And when you put the intention out that you want bad things, you know what you're going to get? Bad things. If you would put your intention out there that you're doing good things, you know what you get? You get good things. There's a show out for, it was like 4 or 5 seasons long. It's called My Name is Earl. I don't know if anybody else ever seen it. I'll give you the synopsis of the show. He gets out of jail. Something happens. He gets in a car wreck or something. He something happens where the consequences scare the shit out of him now. Right? So he gets hit by a car, and he figures out that he got hit by a car because he had done bad to somebody else. Then he wins the lotto. But instead of running around and spending a bunch of money on all these different things, what he does is he writes a list of the people he has hurt. And every show is about him making amends to other people so he can be a better person. The whole show is about the 9th step for us. But for him, he's just making amends to people. And it works. And the saying in the show is, he's like, I figured out that when you do good things happen. And when you do bad things happen. It's that simple. It really is. If you want better things in your life, then you have to do better things. And that's the hard part. What is a better thing? You can start small. Go for a walk. Read a book. Okay? Go rake the leaves. I've got so much yard work to do. If you are bored, come on over. I will put you to work. Okay? I'll sit there and watch. I ain't helping. Just kidding. What else does it do? It creates isolation and strained relationships. Physical health implications. It's a waste of time and energy, right? What else? It perpetuates a victim mentality and lack of agency. That's kind of the one. We're going to talk on that. And then we're going to revert. We're going to revert a little bit. And we're going to talk about how to get out of self-pity. That's what we're going to do next. But perpetuating the victim mentality. Now, I'm going to dig into my PTSD a little bit here, right? Because when it reared its ugly head, people kept telling me, "Oh, you have resentments." People in AA, you have resentments. You have resentment. You know, I'm going to tell you, I know what a resentment is. I've been working with resentment since 1984. I understand them very, very clearly. This was not a resentment. This was something else, and it was evil. It was evil. I know people call it PTSD, but I was being spiritually attacked for 3-4 years. Spiritually attacked. And it's because of my victim mentality from my PTSD. Yeah. I can't play victim anymore. A lot of shitty things have been done to you. You may even had more shitty things done to you than have done to me. I've had some pretty shitty things done to me. I've done some pretty shitty things in return also. Thinking it was justified because of the way that I was treated. That it was okay to treat everybody like shit because growing up, everybody wanted to pick on me. Huh. Yeah. I'm the only one that can change me. But I'm going to need some help. We don't do it alone. And that's part of what self-pity does, is it makes it so you don't ask for help. How can somebody get out of self-pity? So let's talk about the actions that we should take in order to get beyond. Okay. Most of it is going to be a shift in focus, what you're going to focus on. Okay. Now, in this case, in self-pity, I think that if it's going to help you get started, I think a gratitude list is appropriate in this situation, because we need to get started somewhere. Right. And if you know me and anything about gratitude lists, you know that you know my thoughts on it. I'm not going to bring it up here. It doesn't need to be. Right. And even more, it says right here, cultivate gratitude. That's the first thing that it says to do. Think about the good things in your life. Yeah. And you're going to feel it automatically too. Oh, my kids are doing really good. Start looking for the things in life that you appreciate. May go watch a funny show. Okay. Fake it till you make it. Did you know that if you fake laugh 2 or 3 times, you'll actually start laughing? It'll become real. I do it all the time. Why do you think I stem so much? Why do you think I crack so many jokes? Why do you think I sing? Why do you think I act extemporaneously sometimes? Okay. I'm reinforcing good moods is what I'm doing. I'm cultivating gratitude. So have a gratitude journal. Regularly write down things you're grateful for, even small things. If that's going to help you start to get out of your self-pity, awesome. But a gratitude list is a good beginning. It is just it is the aspirin that's going to work until now. I don't want to use drugs as an example. But you get what I mean. But it's a good start. But you're going to need to do something after. Okay. Right after you write that gratitude list, you're going to need some action. Maybe go clean something. Doesn't need to be big. Okay. What are you doing there again? You're reinforcing that we're heading this way now, brain. Okay. Positive reframing. Actively challenging negative thoughts and reframe them in a more positive light. Like right now. Okay. There's no money coming in. We've been broke for months. Okay. Now, my wife and I could have had a bet, and I'm not saying that we've done, if anybody gets upset about it, it's me. I just get tired of waiting. Sometimes I lose my patience. But for the most part, I'd say 95% of the time, I'm like, there's a reason for it. At least my wife and I are getting, this is another thing that my wife and I got through without going at each other's throats. It's another thing we can chalk up to a success that her and I went through. Now we're closer. Now I'm closer with my kids, a couple other people because of it. There we go. There we go. Maybe God was teaching us how to save money. See, I have to think of it differently, because then when I do, then I can think of ways that I can help us make it. Oh, okay. Well, maybe I had to get to the food bank. Maybe I could do this or that to kind of help the situation out so that we don't have to suffer as much. Now we're on to something. Right. So the reframing. Appreciate the good. Go back and see the forest for the trees. Go look at beautiful stuff. What you find beautiful. Right. And appropriate. So notice and appreciate positive aspects of your life, even during difficult times. Practice self-compassion. Compassion. This is the difference between sympathy and empathy. Not to the point where it's going to. So acknowledge your feelings. One of the tricks that was taught to me when I was younger, right, in anger management. I was in anger management when I was 14. Okay. People are like, oh, I got to go to anger management class. I'm like, they locked my ass up and forced me to do those. You got fucking easy. See, the brain will always try and top the other person, right? That doesn't mean theirs is less than. I apologize if it sounded that way. So recognize, validate your emotions. What I was told was, Dion, what you could do is understand that you are angry and then maybe give it a time limit. Okay, I'm going to wallow in this self-pity for 5 more minutes and then I'm done. Create a time limit for yourself, right? And that will help you acknowledge those feelings. But after that, I've got to go do this. Treat yourself kindly. I tell people this all the time. Have a good day despite yourself. How do I end this? Have a day. Still waiting on somebody to kind of ask me what that's about. All right. Maybe everybody already does. So offer yourself the same understanding and support you would offer a friend. Be your own best friend in this case. All right. And I appreciate that they say that, but if you're not treating yourself well, you don't treat other people well. Sorry, it's just how it works. But in self-pity, this is going to work. Challenge negative thoughts. Oh, yeah. Question the validity of self-critical thoughts and replace them with a more balanced perspective. Okay. Before we move on to these other ones, there's one thing in here they are not going to bring up. Okay? Because it's clinical. God. Pray. That's why we pray. 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 We have to pray just to make it each day. That's why we pray. He's not wrong. MC Hammer was not wrong. Okay? Ask God for guidance. God, I'm in self-pity. I don't need to be here. I need some guidance and direction. And then you're going to need to go do something. Okay? So find joy. Find things that you find joy in. That one's real hard for me. I'm going to have to get through the other stuff first before I can be able to find joy. My brain just doesn't allow that for some reason, right? Connect with others. Pick up that 1,000-pound phone. Spend time with loved ones and engage in activities. And here's another one. Help others. I think that's the best answer. I really do. Nothing so much ensures immunity from self-pity. I'm taking this right out of the big book and changing a word. Nothing so much ensures immunity from drinking, from negative thoughts, from negative emotions of self-pity and being in your own brain than intensive work with other alcoholics. It works when other activities fail. That means don't bother with the other activities. Well, in this case, do bother with the other activities because that'll help you get to a place where well, look at the place I'm in. I can't help anybody. You know, stop being an Eeyore, man, and be more like Piglet. Right? I don't know if people have noticed this. Winnie Pooh is all about mental illness. Have we got that yet? Pooh's depressed. Tigger's got ADHD. He's got ADD. Right? The owl thinks he fucking knows it all. He's a narcissist. Yeah. They are, what's his name? The main character, Johnny? Johnny, the main character name? Okay. All those characters are, or is it Timothy? It's going to pop into my head. Okay. All those characters are his mental illnesses. Anyway, seek support. It's going to be hard to do. Let's revert this a little bit. Maybe you see a friend and they're floundering. Reach out, man. You know, we alcoholics know when we know when our fellows are in self-pity. We recognize it because we've been there before. So reach out a helping hand. Confront it with them. Hey, you're kind of acting the Christopher Robbins. Thank you, Heather. That was bothering me. I'm like, I know this. Right. So encouragement. Okay. Now, when a person's in self-pity, do not start to give them a bunch of compliments. Encouragement is something different. Don't lay on the compliments. Okay. Talk it through with them. Why are you feeling sorry for yourself right now? Well, this is going. Yeah, I've been there. And it sucks, man. It sucks. I'm sorry you're going through that. That stinks, man. You want to go for a walk? Suggestion action. Are you hungry? You want to go get some lunch? Get some movement in the person. Even if it's, hey, let's go outside and talk in nature. Let's go sit in the backyard. Let's do that. Suggest things. They don't have to be big things. Just make them little things. Meet them where they are at and do for you what you would hope that somebody do for them, what you would hope that somebody would do for you. You got it in you. Alcoholics have a deep, deep intuition, and we all have empathy to a certain extent. I haven't met an alcoholic who doesn't have empathy, actually. All right. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out and have a day.